Hi everyone, my name is Radhika Desai and I'm the convener of the International Manifesto Group, which is sponsoring today's event. This is our latest of many webinars, and our topic today is the conflict over Ukraine. Where should the left stand? Obviously, this topic has exercised many of us, and this seminar has attracted a great deal of interest precisely from people who have been racking their heads over what is the correct stance to take. Over the past 6 months and more, as Russia started its military operations in Ukraine, as the West armed Ukraine, combining uncompromising rhetoric with deeply compromised and convenient sanctions against Russia, and equally compromised and convenient arms deliveries to Ukraine, urging it, in the words of realist international relations scholar John Mearsheimer, to fight Russia to the last Ukrainian. As all these things have happened, the left has splintered into a range of positions, from opposition to the West to opposition to Russia and everything else in between. All too many issues have become entangled. What is the nature of imperialism? Who are the real imperialists? What is the legality, effectiveness, and real purpose of sanctions? What has been the role of NATO, both on an ongoing basis over the last 6 months, and of course, over the post-Cold War period, and of course, during the Cold War itself. What has been the role of fascists in the present conflict? Why have a whole people, namely the Russians, been demonized, Russians and their culture been demonized to levels unseen since the Second World War? What is the possibility of the extension of the logic of proxy wars from the war against Russia over Ukraine to another war against China over Taiwan? How is the current conflict changing? How is it already accelerating the ongoing transformation of the world order, its political and geopolitical economy, now solidifying into a clear anti-imperialist camp, which is getting more and more adherents? As during the pandemic, so also in the current conflict, the absence of a consistent left position opposing the war is being felt, and the right seems to be making much of the political running. This is costing not only the left, but the world as a whole, and the bill is mounting to existential proportions. Overcoming this limitation is the task which is long and hard. It is as long and as hard as its roots are long and deep. They go back to the post-Cold War moment, when substantial parts of the left was won over to Western imperialism, now festooned with banners of democracy and human rights, just as it was once festooned with banners of white man's burden and civilizing mission. It goes back further to the post-war moment, when so much of the social democracy compromised with imperialism, the compromises which were only deepened in the post-Cold War era with third way social democracy. It goes back, of course, also to the splintering of the left over the Russian Revolution and over every other revolution, socialist revolution, that has occurred since. And further back to the formative difficulties of the Second International itself, when reformist tendencies arose and reacted with intellectual and political currents which narrowed and denatured the legacy of Marx and Engels, and refused to recognize the organic relation between capitalism and imperialism. So today, on the day when the day which is in between the anniversaries of the atomic bombing of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, when we once again face the possibility of nuclear war, today, as the current war and its conduct deepens the economic crisis, in which the difficulties faced by the Western working class, deep and existential as they are actually dwarfed by the difficulties that are being faced by the vast majority of the people of the third world. And at a time when the prospects of dealing with the ecological emergency of climate warming, of pollution and loss of biodiversity is receding ever further, this webinar is trying to make a start, however modest, in trying to overcome the divisions of the left, in order that a substantial left position in politics may be felt around the world, one that is substantial and meaningful, opposed to the actual structures of power that are running the world and crashing it as we see today. Such a left, the importance of such a left is of course great the world over, but it is particularly great in the homelands of imperialism.
I'm Michael Hudson. I'm appearing here for the International Manifesto Group. If you like this video and ones like it, please subscribe. For more information, go to the address on the screen.